Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we're going to be making eggs Benedict. This is going to be not such a fancy dish, but it is so amazing, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. I'm using this recipe along with a thread of some of my other really amazing breakfast and brunch ideas you can use for holidays or just any special time of year where you want to impress your guests. Let me start with some of the ingredients that we're going to be putting in our eggs Benedict. And these are just going to be, some of them are optional and some are not, so it'll be your preference. First of all, we're going to have a Hollandaise sauce that we're going to be making, and I'll be showing it a little bit. But anyway, we're going to have egg yolks, cream, Dijon mustard, cayenne pepper with a little, that's optional. I like a little bit of zip and spice in almost anything, so I'll put that into almost anything. Lemon juice is a very important factor, fresh ground pepper and salt. And then later on we'll be putting butter. We'll also be putting, you can use Canadian ham, but I have regular ham that is just perfect and has tons more flavor, I believe, than Canadian ham. But Canadian ham is easy to buy and you can just put it on your muffin. We'll be using English muffins with the poached eggs and the Hollandaise sauce and a little side of asparagus. That's what we'll be serving for our breakfast, one of our brunch ideas. So let's get started in just a moment. Small saucepan that has about an inch of water that's been simmering. And then I put my glass bowl over it, so you want it to fit snugly on here, mostly with not the bowl touching the water. And this is basically going to be steaming your eggs and things so that they don't cook too quickly. In making a Hollandaise sauce, it is a little tricky that you don't want to cook it too fast or it'll curdle or it'll cook too much. So the first thing we're going to add is our egg yolks, and we have 4 large egg yolks in this bowl, and a half a cup of cream. That's heavy whipping cream, by the way. We're going to put in a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. We are going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, fresh ground pepper. And there will be a tablespoon and a half of fresh squeezed lemon juice. I keep this in my fridge at all times, but the lemon juice is very important, so a tablespoon and a half of that. Now, what I'm going to be doing is whisking this, and this is the part that takes a little bit of patience. And you're going to leave this over the steaming pan with the, you can see the steam, maybe you can't, but I can see the steam coming out from underneath this pan. And I'm going to whisk this until it's about 160 degrees or until it coats a spoon with just a thick sauce. So I'm going to come back to you and tell you about how long it took me to get this to the stage where we want to be to get ready for the next part of the Hollandaise sauce. I want this so it just barely is thickened like it shows right here. I've been doing this stirring this for about 5.5 minutes. How you can tell it's ready to go is if it coats the back of a spoon nicely without dripping off. That is a good sign that it is ready. Okay, I'm moving my temperature on my stove to low, and this is where I'm going to drizzle in a half a cup of melted butter, just a little bit at a time, because you don't want it to curdle. Whisk constantly at this point, just barely drizzle it in a little bit at a time. And this is going to be better than any Hollandaise sauce that you buy in a packet in the store. Because of course you're making it with fresh eggs, fresh butter, fresh everything, fresh cream. Now I'm going to turn my oven off, my stove off right now and let this sit so it'll stay warm, because we're going to want warm Hollandaise sauce to put on our eggs. So I'm going to turn this off at this point. Just let this sit for a minute, and we'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to show you how to poach the eggs. I'll be serving some asparagus on the side. You can put some Hollandaise sauce on that too. Quickly, I have shown how I make my asparagus, but I use just a fry pan with a little bit of olive oil and butter, and I season it with salt and pepper. I put a couple tablespoons of water in with it to steam it, and I cover it like this. And I've already done that, and that only needs to be going on there for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and you want it just bright green and crisp tender like this. So I'm going to take this off the stove and put it over here to get ready when we put our Hollandaise sauce and eggs Benedict together on our plate. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you how to do is I'm waiting for this water to completely boil. It's just about ready. You want to use the freshest eggs possible so that the egg whites don't spread. So if you've never made poached eggs before, this is an easy way to do it in a fry pan, not a big pot, okay? So this is about ready to boil, this water. We're going to watch that for a second. I'm going to put the lid on and keep it going. And what I do is I take, now you want the most fresh eggs possible. So we happen to be very fortunate in having, chickens on our property. And so we do honestly get the freshest eggs you can get. They're not shipped to anywhere else, These are the best. So what I do, and this is about ready to boil, is so that it's easy to slip this into the water, is to take a little ramekin, or you can take a little half a cup measure or something like that, and you're going to put in your egg. And we're going to do just 4 eggs. On this recipe you can use up to 8 eggs in here, but we're going to put 4 eggs in at a time. Okay, my water is boiling now. And what you take is just a little, this is how we'll be removing it with this slotted spoon. But I'm going to go ahead and just gently put in each egg. It should rise to the top in just a moment. And you want kind of a runny egg on your eggs Benedict, because it's just so delicious that way. If you like them a little harder, you can do your preference, but you want to be sure to use the largest eggs you can find, and these are large eggs. Now I'm going to let these sit here in the boiling water for about 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to put the timer on and see if it needs to go a little bit longer depending on how well they're done. Have them in this boiling water for about 4 minutes. Now it depends on your preference, but it's really good with the runny egg. Now you can see this egg right here is a little bit covered. Now you put these, you got the water on here, so we're going to put these on the paper towel to just drain the water off. We're going to let that drain for a little bit. Then we're going to put the whole thing together. Oh, by the way, I neglected to tell you something really important. This is vinegar, and you want to put some vinegar in your boiling water. I don't know what the purpose of that is for, but that's in the recipe. So I did add vinegar to the water, like a tablespoon of vinegar to the water. Maybe that tempers it or something. I'm not sure what it does, but that is part of the recipe. Okay, we'll be back in a minute to put the whole thing together. This one is a little bit done, a little bit more, and that is what my husband likes. He does not like runny eggs too much, but you can just put 1 egg on, or you can put 2, but you can see they're poached nicely. So this is going to make an awfully big one. I'm just going to have 1 on my ham. So we have a piece of ham, or you can put, like I said, the Canadian bacon. You want to put a little bit of salt and pepper on top of your eggs. Now, you know what you can do too is just put it on the other side here, which works too. So you can have 2. Mash them together as an egg. Okay, now here's our Hollandaise sauce. It's still kept warm because I just kept it in the pan. And you can see how lovely it is. You can see how it's still warm. And it's in perfect consistency, and it did not take long at all to make that. So this goes over the eggs. And you can put a little bit over your asparagus too, because Hollandaise sauce on asparagus is amazing as well. So this is kind of a decadent breakfast, but it's going to be amazing. And I like to garnish with a little bit of chives, and I'm going to put a little bit of sauce on this other egg. It doesn't have the ham on it. There you go. That's a full-on breakfast. All right. Enjoy your new brunch idea for a new brunch offering for Easter morning for brunch, or any other holiday or any weekend time that you have a little time to work on this. Your guests and your husband will love it, or your wife. If you like this video, please subscribe and share with your friends. I'm going to be doing a playlist of a lot of brunch and breakfast foods. We're going to be making waffles with raspberry sauce and whipped cream. We're going to be doing all kinds of other brunch dishes. And please make sure you find the recipe below how to make this wonderful Eggs Benedict.